Hello, everybody. Chris or Koryakin here in the real world. As you can tell, I'm doing something a little bit different because I wanted to try something different. Up until now, I've mainly been I've made videos about technical aspects of composing, how to do specific effects or certain techniques, whereas this is going to be a bit more philosophical, sort of how to think like a composer. It may be quite rambly because this is all tangled up in my head and I'm still trying to sort out what I think in a way I can communicate, but I'll do my best. A lot of times when we listen to music as consumers, we tend to not engage with it too deeply. As long as it sounds good, we're perfectly happy. And for most people, that's quite enough. But as a composer, you really want to try and delve into music. Think about what choices are being made and why. So rather than, if you're writing music, instead of thinking, oh, that's a great sound, it can be useful to think, why is that a good sound? Why does it work? And how can I use it for more interesting things? So I've been struggling with what to write this month, and I ended up coming up with an idea today, which I guess is what inspired me to make this video. It's my first idea I've had that I actually halfway like so far, so let's see what it works. So, this is the sort of sound that really appeals to me. I've sort of grown past liking triads, although I don't feel like one of my previous composition teachers did, which is that the triad is dead. No, it's still around. But I really like this sort of wistful sound you get where instead of having the third of a triad, so in this case G sharp of an E chord, I replace it with the F sharp. Or you can replace it with the A instead to get a suspended sound. I really like these suspended chords these days. And then if I put the B on top, it's got this really wonderful open sound. I mean, you can see my hands are really spread out as I'm playing this. If I was playing it notes that are a lot more clustered, you get some sound like this, which can be really cool, but it sounds very claustrophobic in some ways, or it can. Anyway, so I'm trying to figure out what the heck to do with this because it's just an idea. Will it go anywhere? I don't know, but I'll take you on the ride with me. So what makes this interesting is this sound up here. It's the same both times, basically. But because the chord underneath it changes, the notes have a different meaning. So that's with the E underneath it, and here's with the A underneath it. So previously, we had the sense of, we're resolving down to the third. Oh, this feels nice. I like it here. Whereas this time, we've got this, it's a tonic. It's the root of the chord, going down to the major 7. But it's just there for a little while and then it resolves. But it doesn't resolve anywhere useful. It resolves down to the B, which can be a fun sound. Anyway, I really, really love sounds like this. In fact, it's suspiciously close to, I think this is New Beginnings. So, when I wrote it, I didn't even think of that at all because the way I'm approaching this is entirely different in my head. So, for this piece, whereas New Beginnings was supposed to be this big, flashy, hey, everything's awesome, because, I came back to Clanlord and everything, I'm meeting all my friends again and everything's lovely. I'm finally getting back into the sort of traditional, wistful Koryakin muddling around, feeling nostalgic and bittersweet and everything. So, with this in mind, I'm feeling like this piece wants to be something or if I'm going to develop this idea, it would be something that sort of suspends the listener in time. So I mean, we can only sustain notes so long in Clownlord, but especially on the piano, I can just sit here forever. And then we can really sort of start to live in this sound. So we're here, we're repeating it. So what I'm actually doing, if you think about it, is I'm training the listener to think about this as home. This is where we're starting. This is the pattern. So if I keep doing it, they'll feel, oh yeah, okay, I know this. I know where this is going. This feels good. And if I keep doing it over and over and over again, they'll get bored. Yeah, I mean, we're really starting to overstay our welcome. So what do? I really want to keep this sound, but what if we land somewhere else? So my first default, whenever I'm in a major chord, is always, or major key, is always the relative minor. So in that case, it would be C sharp. So all of a sudden, this has an entirely new meaning. Now we have the fifth of the triad going down to the minor seventh. Now that feels weird. So I basically just went from minor 6, and because it has that minor third, it has the third of the triad, which is we haven't used too much except for in the melody. But if I use it again in that A, it just doesn't feel right. I feel like if I put in that, it doesn't feel right. It feels like I still need to use a suspended sound because we're going away from it. We're going into somewhere has some tension. We're going to this minor key, and then we're going back to home. Actually, I don't know if I like that beat on there. Maybe we should do this instead. 2, 3. And then land on the E. Oh, no! Okay, that B sounded really unsatisfying, but I liked what we were doing up to then. So why did the B sound unsatisfying there? Because I felt like I was doing a really good job of creating this sort of wistful environment, but as soon as I went to that B, it's too grounded. We're like back in classical land. And don't get me wrong, I love the classical sound, the romantic sound, but it doesn't fit here. Okay, so here I've actually got the third. I got the C sharp, but because it's a major 7 chord, it kind of works. What if we... So I can't actually tell now. Do I want to have the B there? Definitely not the D. I tried going somewhere weird. Didn't work. Yeah, this is what the process is like. Try things. They don't work. Try other things. Hope. Okay, so we've successfully established the pattern. We thwart expectations by going somewhere we're not expecting. I really feel like after the minor 6th, walking down to the A there to the 4 is definitely the right idea. Okay, that worked. Okay, so we do want to go to the B there. We really want to go to the 5. We do want to go to the 5, but we don't want to have just a proper triad there. We still want to keep this suspended sound. So in this case, we're still using the same notes we did before. B, E, F sharp, and B. But now, again, the context is changed. See? Okay, I think that'll work. We're just going to pretend this is the second time. And then we'll go to this. Do we do this again? I feel like it might be a little too much to repeat it. But maybe not. That should be A there, yeah. So here now we're getting into song structure. So we've got this song. Music is all about tension and release. You start out somewhere that feels stable, or at least home. You move away from it, you move back. The further you get away from it, the more tension there is, the more that the sense of catharsis, the release, the resolution feels satisfying when you finally make it home. So right now we're just basically walking around the block. We're staying home. We're going just a little ways away and then immediately going home. And then we have this 5 chord, and 5 leads to 1. It's very, very strong. And this is the first time we're seeing it. So it has this sense of importance. This is an important moment because we're using this chord for the first time. And then we go back home. So where do we go next is always the question. So because we got this B here, we could use that as a destination point. So in this case, we're going to G, which is a very weird place to go in E, because it's basically flat 3. But if you walk up from G, you get back to A. So there is a way to get home. Do we want to go there yet? I don't know. We can't stay in the same place for too long. We have to change. So up until now, we've got block chords. Maybe we go to a section that has more movement. But we don't want to go back to E, because that'll feel too much like going home. Again, default is always go to the relative minor or relative major. No. So again, the problem is if we do that, if we go to the C minor 7 with the suspended sound, we're still sort of in suspended land. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we're there because that's what this whole piece is about. But I feel like we really need to do some sort of change. So actually, this is an interesting idea, because before we've had block chords, so now we've got a repeated note. Nope. So actually, I really like this. It's still got this sense of openness, but it's not at all what we had before. I can't remember what I did. So what I'm trying to do is play this really open, sparse melody on top of the repeated note, and I'm purposely trying to avoid the notes of the triad, the C minor triad, until they're decorated. So we've got the notes on top and bottom of C sharp. So actually, maybe I'm not avoiding it. I'm doing this sort of ladder walk down in some ways. I have no idea what you'd actually probably call that. So what am I doing and why am I making this choice? I've talked about what I'm doing. I'm using a repeated note to try and get away from block chords. I'm doing this sparse melody to try and decorate the C sharp minor triad while not changing the harmony at all. Because before, the first part was all going back and forth between two chords. So here I'm staying on one chord. And because it's a similar sort of sound in terms of sparse, bittersweet, it still feels like it fits, but it doesn't at all feel like the first section. It feels like something very different. And where do we go from here, though, is a question. We can repeat that twice. We could, if we repeated it a third time, we'd really want to add in something else, like another counter melody, which I don't have three hands, so I can't really play. It doesn't really work if you play it too fast. Do we want to harmonize it? Are we just harmonizing it? I don't think that actually changes it enough. I think it's too much the same. So the good news here is we do actually have an idea. We have idea 1. We have idea 2. And we're eventually going to have to go from idea 2 back into idea 1. This is what I talk a lot about having sort of a home and then having contrasting sections. So this is definitely, we're moving away. We're sort of in unexplored space. It's sort of chaotic. We don't know where we can go. At this point, we can go weird places if we want to. If we just went back to 4, it would be very reminiscent of the last section, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it may not necessarily be what we want. So what if we try going somewhere else? Walk up doesn't seem to be working. Walking up a little bit faster does kind of work. Walking down and with chord, we don't want to use chords at all. We shouldn't do that. We don't want to use chords at all. If we walk down, it's too similar. Like we got downward motion in the top part. We don't want to have the same motion in the bottom part. It sounds too similar. We want something contrasting. Sometimes it can be useful to think about our destination. Where are we going? What if we do the same trick as before, where we're playing the same melody, but because we've changed the harmony, it means something different now? Nope. Keep going to 4. I keep going to 4. I don't want to go there. What if I continue this and then just have an entirely separate melody? So we have our theme 1 per verse section, and then we have... And then we use that sort of D sharp sound that we used earlier to, which was in the melody previously. What if that makes a return here? So if that was the second time. Okay, so that that A natural really gives a sense of going to 4, so I have to avoid that at all costs for now. So, but I liked what was happening before. So if this is the second time, oh, you know what? We are going to go there, but we're going to go there at the end of the section. That's how we get back to theme 1. That 4 chord really gives the feeling of we're going home. So I have to save it. I can't use it here. That's a nice way to build up, but I don't know if that's right here. No, it's... Yeah, I feel like that might work. So what I've got here is I've got this decoration of... Basically, I'm just staying with C sharp minor, but I'm just delaying landing on it. I'm playing something else to make the audience wait. It's like, where is this going? Oh, okay, we're back to our chord. And then same thing. So these are all notes in the triad. And unfortunately, I can't... it's just one of the weird things about triads, like the different... if I go down from here, I can do a third under. I can do a third under. I can do a third under. So basically, a third is an interval in that case. So under the D sharp, I've got a B. Under the E, I've got a C sharp. Under the B, I've got a G sharp. But if I'm going to go back to the C sharp at the end of that little melodic motif, I can't have a third underneath it because that's that A, so I have to stay on the G sharp. It sounds like it doesn't keep the parallel motion going in this part, which is a little unsatisfying, but it's about as good as it's going to get. So the first time we went down, second time let's go up. So actually I really like that. So for that time I went up to E and B. So it's again a C sharp minor 7 chord, but without the fifth. It's just an open fifth, which gives it a sense of openness, which is reminiscent of the first section and very different than what's happening with these very tight intervals. It opens up there for just a moment, almost like, a ray of sunshine breaking through the clouds. But then we go back to where we were before. So I put a harmony in there. Might work. I got it wrong. There was some good stuff there. I was busy playing and not talking or thinking about it. I have this bad habit of playing and then forgetting immediately what I've played. Okay, so what did I do there? I'm going back to the very beginning. We have our open first theme. Or actually, I say our texture. This is our intro. And then we have our melody. So it has this big open sort of wistful sound, and then we go down whatever it was. I'll go back to the recording because I sure don't remember now. And then we end up here, and we'll actually let that sit for a little while to let the audience get accustomed to being like, oh, where are we going? What's going to happen? I would actually right there is where I would do it. I would just repeat that 8 times. I wouldn't do this, but I was busy talking. So here's section 2. And then the little compressed one. This time, let's go to 4 to signal we're going home. This transition is not good. Let's go back to no, actually I kind of liked it when I was going to the A a little bit before then, so No, that wasn't. That's what it sounds like with the A. Here's how it's supposed to be. So I walk down to the G sharp. So now we're back to actually E major, but I want to keep walking down to F sharp. And then it feels like it's gonna go home. We're gonna walk down to E. It's gonna be wonderful. But no, it's all a lie. So, same thing. I'm repeating the same melody, but the context is changing because of the note under it. So if I wanted to, I could go back to C sharp to continue my exploration. I could even go somewhere else. not that though. I think I'm actually going to leave this here because this is about half an hour, and I've walked you through starting from an idea and not knowing anywhere to go at all, and finally getting to actually the structure, the skeleton of a piece. So we had an idea, and we talked about why I thought it worked. We tried to emphasize that when we were doing a melody, and then we tried to come up with something entirely different for a contrasting section. So there's still enough that's the same that it feels like it belongs, but the part that makes it cool is gone. So in this case, this chord transition is what I thought was cool. That goes away. But the overall feeling of openness, wistfulness, that stays. And then we have a part where after all those giant intervals, we have these little tiny ones. And then I mentioned how going down to the A, give that sense of the 4 chord, is what leads us home. And this is where we delayed it. We could even delay it longer if I wanted to. But when I go home, that's how I'm going to do it. Actually, instead of going down to F sharp, we can actually go up to just the B. And then that takes us back to and if we wanted to, we could put in a whole outro, but just for the purposes of this video, I think we're going to end right there on the feeling of, are we home yet? We're not quite there. There's this thing that there's something left unfinished. Well, you'll just have to listen to the song again next time, or when it's done, hopefully. But that feeling of, we'll talk about endings another time. Anyway, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask me, and yeah, have fun writing.